Hello and welcome to UPSCFEVER Science section. Today's topic is chapter number 10 on flowers. So, introduction to this chapter. Flowers are of two types. One are unisexual flowers and the second is bisexual flowers. So, unisexual flowers either are male or female, whereas bisexual flowers have reproductive organs of both male as well as female. However, for fertilization to occur, the male or female unisexual and bisexual flowers, for a single plant, it is possible to have male or female unisexual flowers or bisexual flowers together on the same plant. So, we may note this down. A normal plant or a flower has some organs or parts. The first important part is the petals of that flower. So these are the prominent parts of an open flower. Second, sepals. These are small leaf-like structures that enclose the petals. The male reproductive organ or male reproductive part of a flower is known as stamen. Inside the stamen, the pollen grains or male gametes are present, and the stamen itself is the inner part of the flower. Second is the female reproductive part of a flower, which is the pistil. These are also inner parts of the flower and they contain ovary, style and stigma. Inside the ovary, the eggs or the female gametes are present, which are also known as ovules. The reproduction process in a plant. So, as you know, the flowers can either have male or female or both. So it is merely the transfer of the pollen grains to the ovules, which is in the process of pollination. So this pollination can be done by many agents. One is wind, second are insects, or it can also be taken place by water. Pollination involves the transfer of pollen to the stigma of the flower. It can be self-pollination, that is, if the pollen falls on the stigma of the same flower, that means the flower has to be bisexual. Or the second type of pollination is cross-pollination. So in this, the stigma of a single flower is populated by the pollen of a flower from the same plant or a different plant but of the same kind. So cross pollination can be done between flowers of the same plant as well as flowers of different plants, but they have to be of the same kind. So when the pollen and stigma come together, that is the male and the female gametes come together, they fuse to form the zygote, and this zygote is formed by a process known as fertilization. Further, the zygote then becomes an embryo. After fertilization is over, that is after the zygote is formed, the ovary then becomes the fruit of the plant, whereas the ovules become the seed. Remember that the ovary contains the ovules and the ovules or the eggs or the female gametes are the same thing. So the seeds contain the embryos and the remaining parts of the flower fall down. So a plant has, any plant has flowers, and the main parts of these flowers are the male and female reproductive organs. That is the stamens and the pistils. And the process of pollination occurs between them, and the zygote is formed. The zygote becomes an embryo, and the flower then becomes the fruit. Meanwhile, the petals, the sepals, these are the unnecessary parts of the flower, which are mainly for the purpose of attracting insects or any other agent of pollination. So once the process of pollination is over, no longer these agents or attractive agents are required, process of pollination and the natural cycle is very common and goes on throughout the year. So that was it about the chapter on reproduction in plants. There is a quiz in this chapter and you have to solve this quiz, and if you are confident and you can score at least 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, then you can move on to the next video. You may find this chapter in the science section of UPSC. So I will show you how to reach to this chapter. You have to type UPSCFEVER.com. Sorry. Yeah. So UPSCFEVER is this website, and in this website you have to go to the science section. You can click on the navigation bar. You can click on UPSC. You can click on science. Then you will see the science homepage. Yeah, this is the science homepage, and we are currently at chapter number 10, flowers. So for taking notes or downloading PDF or solving the quiz, you can follow these steps. Thank you. All the best.